Hello students, subject is recruitment and selection. Welcome to the video lecture. In this video lecture, I'll be discussing unit 2 of recruitment and selection. The subject code is 18MBHR301 and my name is Dr. S. Rohit Raj. In unit 2, we will understand in detail regarding the hiring process and hiring decision. Then we will even study the nature of hiring. Students now will understand hiring process and hiring decision. Hiring or recruitment can be defined as the process of finding prospective candidates for filling actual or projected vacancies in an organization. Recruitment enables the organization to obtain the number and types of individuals required for its continuous working. Normally, it is an effort to gain the interest of the candidates looking for jobs, find the candidates interested in the job, and create a group of potential employees with the help of which the management can choose the suitable person for the job. The process of recruitment is one of the most significant aspects for operating a business successfully. The quality of the workers determines the performance of an organization, and therefore individuals who effectively manage all the functions of the organization are suitable for it. Even though changes can be brought in some incompetent employees by training and rigorous supervision, recruitment of capable and passionate people is undoubtedly preferred. By appointing the right person on the right position, great amount of time, energy, and money can be saved. Therefore, it is necessary for a manager to recruit high quality employees in order to fulfill the organization needs. After understanding in detail regarding the hiring or recruitment, now we'll understand the objectives of hiring. The first objective is business growth. The second, filling vacancies caused due to staff turnover. The third, changing job roles. The fourth objective, internal promotion. And the fifth objective, increasing workload. Now we will understand each objective in detail. The first one, business growth. Recruitment is mandatory for the business to grow. Since a business which is recruiting indicates its growth, also the needed skills for the next stage of business development and the current skill set required can be attained only by recruiting efficient employees. For example, e-commerce, that is purchasing and selling on the internet, is one of the growth areas that have encouraged firms to hire web designers are required and specialists in IT. The second objective, filling vacancies caused due to staff turnover. Now every business faces staff turnover at some point of time. For example, chain stores like some of the mega chain stores have an ongoing recruitment process for any attendance. People will have numerous reasons to leave jobs and need to be replaced immediately and on a regular basis. Then changing job roles. In the present world, work is changing continuously. So what we can say is change is the only constant. The skills that seem to be of value today might be redundant next year, and a new set of skills will be needed because world has become so much competitive today. More and more technologies are emerging. So thus new opportunities will be constantly created and businesses will keep on recruiting new employees. Then internal promotion. Organizations practice motivating their employees to go for more challenging and higher paid jobs within the organization. The ones who succeed to move up in the hierarchy need to be replaced by new employees. increasing workload. When the amount of work increases, the business requires more employees and also those who are more skilled. Current employees can be encouraged to develop new skills through trainings, which will be a boon for their career growth, increase their loyalty towards the organization by prompting them to stay with the organization for a longer duration and fill the skill gap. Then employee referral scheme also proves to be beneficial for the employee, where the employee can refer his or her friends, relatives or acquaintances possessing the skills desired for a post and earn suitable reward for that in the form of incentives. So after understanding the objectives of hiring, now we'll discuss the factors which affect the hiring. Hiring is mainly affected by external factors and internal factors. Now we will understand what are these external factors and the internal factors in detail. External factors. These factors are those which cannot be controlled by the organization. That means it is an outside factor which cannot be controlled within the organization. A variety of external factors which affect recruitment are supply and demand, unemployment rate, labor market, the image or goodwill, political, social, legal environment, and competitors. So these external factors cannot be controlled by the internal people in the organization. So the factors cannot be controlled by the organization. They are external factors. Now we'll discuss each external factor in detail. Supply and demand. So how this will be a factor which will be affecting the hiring. A significant factor in the recruitment process is the manpower supply, both within the organization and outside the organization. If demand of the professionals in the company is more and supply of professionals in the market is low, then the company will have to rely on internal sources by training and developing employees. Then the second external factor is unemployment rate. Growth of the economy is another factor that affects the availability of applicants. Lack of jobs in the company and surplus labor in the market can give rise to a situation of unemployment. Labor market. Employment conditions in the area where the organization is situated affects the recruiting activities of the organization. Ordinary attempts like displaying job vacancies on notice boards or announcement in the official meetings will attract more candidates than needed at the time of recruitment. Then the fourth one is image or goodwill. Employer's image can also act as a hindrance for recruitment. The activities of the organization are the basis for building organizational image. It becomes easier to attract and retain employees for an organization if it has a positive image and goodwill as an employer than for an organization with negative image. Political, social, legal environment. Recruitment practices are directly influenced by various government regulations which keep out favoritism in hiring and employment. Recruitment sources can be limited by union's regulation if the candidate does not fulfill the criteria set by the union. Competitors. The recruitment function is also influenced by the recruitment policies of the competitors. Generally, organizations change their recruitment policies to match up with the competitors' policies so that they can compete in the market. So after thoroughly discussing the external factors, now we will discuss few internal factors. The factors that can be regulated by the organization itself are called internal factors. So these are the various internal factors in the organization which influence the recruitment program. So the internal factors like human resource planning, recruitment policy, size of the firm, and cost. So now we'll discuss in detail regarding the various internal factors. Now human resource planning, like how many employees are to be recruited and what are the qualifications required. They should have decided with the help of effective HRP, that is human resource planning. Then a proper recruitment policy should be made well in advance. The aims of recruitment are stated in the recruitment policy of the organization. It also gives an outline for the execution of recruitment program. Then the third internal factor is size of the firm. Another vital factor that affect the process of recruitment is the size of the organization. If the organization is planning to increase its operations and expand its business, it will plan for hiring more employees to carry out its functions. Cost. Recruitment expenses are borne by the employer. Therefore, organizations try to make use of that source of recruitment which gives more output in less cost. Now, after understanding the various internal and external factors, we will even understand the hiring process followed in majority of the organization. The first step in hiring process is recruitment planning. Then the second step in hiring process is, students, these are very important steps, please remember. The first step is in hiring process is recruitment planning. Then the second step is identifying recruitment sources. Then the third one would be contacting sources. Then the fourth one in a hiring process is application pool. And the last step in a hiring process is selection process. Now, after understanding the various factors and even knowing the hiring process in the previous slide, now we'll understand why hiring is required or the importance of hiring. The first importance of hiring would be determines present and future requirements, creates and increases applicants pool, increases success rate of selection. And the fourth importance should be meets organization's obligations. Now, regular hiring means that all workers are provided with a legally recognized employment relationship and that every effort is made to ensure that employment is continuous, as the name only suggests. Now, workers without employment agreements with their employer or who are provided only with the short-term contracts often do not receive the wages and benefits given to permanent full-time workers. Regular hiring means that the company will not hire workers on a temporary basis in order to avoid paying the same wages and benefits as permanent workers. Benefits of regular hiring to the organization: decreased worker turnover, improved worker satisfaction, morale and productivity. Now, decreased cost for recruitment and hiring. Regular employees tend to be more loyal to their jobs because they have job security. Now, after understanding the regular hiring, now we will go to temporary hiring. Temporary full-time employees are scheduled to work a fixed hours per day but are expected to be employed for at least 3 months but less than 1 year. They are entitled to paid vacation, holidays, sick time and maternity leave on the same basis as regular full-time employees, but they are not eligible for other institutional benefits except business travel accident coverage. Now, some of the advantages of temporary hiring includes compensation, planning, flexibility, considerations, compensation. Now we'll understand some of the advantages of temporary hiring. The first one would be compensation. Temporary workers usually cost less than full-time permanent staff. While the hourly rates may be the same, temporary employees are generally not paid any benefits. Planning. Temporary hiring can also be bridged during uncertain economic times. This is very important. It can also be cost-effective way of evaluating a worker. Letting a temporary contract expire is usually easier than laying off a permanent worker. Then the third advantage of temporary hiring is flexibility. Temporary employment provides flexibility to both employer and employee. The employer can put off making permanent hiring decision until the sales visibility and economic conditions show sustained improvement. A temporary job for an employee means money to pay the bills. Then the fourth advantage of temporary hiring is considerations. Temporary hiring are often hired through temporary agencies or through some placement agencies. Some of these agencies specialize in certain areas such as healthcare or accounting. Give them sufficient notice, especially if the employers are planning to hire a large number of temps. Then there are some disadvantages also of temporary hiring, like lack of loyalty and motivation. Then wasted training. So why wasted training? Because you are providing your complete effort to train that particular employee, but after training immediately he can quit. So whatever the cost incurred by the organization or whatever the time they have invested in a particular employee in an organization, it goes wasted. The inconsistencies. And last disadvantage of temporary hiring would be collaboration issues. Then the third type of hiring, that is full-time hiring. Full-time employment is employment in which the employee works the full number of hours defined as such by his or her employer. Full-time employment often comes with benefits that are not typically offered to part-time, temporary or flexible workers, such as annual leave or sick leave and health insurance. Now, advantages of hiring full-time employees would be, full-time employees are often more invested in cultivating relationships with the company and the customers they serve. In addition, employees depend on their employers economically, so they are more likely to try to build their own personal reputation within the company as skilled. The third advantage of hiring full-time employees would be having proven full-time employees is that employers can take time off knowing their team is managing the work effectively and on schedule. And the last advantage of hiring full-time employees, having a team of reliable company employees also means a greater sense of continuity in the quality of work. Then the fourth type of nature of hiring, what we'll be discussing now, is part-time hiring. Part-time employment offers reduced and flexible hours for workers who may have another job or obligations as a student or parent. A company that hires part-time employees can identify potential candidates for advancement. Some companies even have official policies for encouraging promotion from within. So part-time employment often means that workers must accept minimal employee benefits if they receive any. Employers can save money by choosing not to offer health insurance, retirement plans or fringe benefits to part-time employees. This increases the cost of recruiting, processing and training employees. Some of the advantages of part-time hiring would be it saves money, but it meets demand. The second advantage is it meets demand. The third is enthusiasm, and the fourth one is availability. But students, there are few disadvantages also in case of part-time hiring, which includes higher absenteeism rates, mistakes in hiring decision, excessive socializing, increased risk in terms of workplace safety and security. Then it involves a lot of administrative costs. Then the next would be apprentice hiring. That is the fifth one of in nature of hiring. Apprentices build their careers from apprenticeships. Most of the training is done on job while working for an employer who helps the apprentices to learn their trade in exchange for their continuing labor for an agreed period after they become skilled, highly skilled. An apprentice works closely with an experienced professional in a particular field to learn the ropes to learn the ropes before entering the job full time. Apprentice hiring options. There are many ways students to recruit an apprentice, which includes in-house. The second one would be job networks. The third one, recruitment agencies. Fourth one, through recruitment websites. And fifth one would be group training companies. So there are some advantages also for apprentice training, which are like committed workforce. The second one would be, bridging the skills gap. Fresh perspective will be there and improving the bottom line. And students, there are some disadvantages also when it comes to apprentice hiring. The risk. Why the first disadvantage is in apprentice hiring is risk? Because apprentice is less experienced and skilled than his mentor. Plus, it takes time for the mentor to train an apprentice. The second disadvantage of apprentice hiring would be potential for making more and more mistakes because he is in a learning phase. The third would be resources. Next type of hiring, what we are discussing now, is contractual hiring. As the name only suggests, an employee who works under contract for an employer. A contract employee is hired for a specific job at a specific rate of pay. A contract employee does not become a regular addition to the staff and is not considered a permanent employee. Contractual hiring is setting trends and is in very good demand in the recent years. Even in a tough and tight economy where companies generally feel the squeeze and some even consider downsizing, there are companies who create and offer job vacancies. Now, some of the advantages of contractual hiring would be the employer can change them if they do not perform well because they are on a contractual basis, right? The employers are given enough time to assess the performance of employees. The best thing about contractual employees, because of the absence of security of tenure and with the hope of being put on probationary status, they perform very well or they give their best and perform well. Then the second advantage of contractual hiring would be they're very cost effective to the company. Then the third advantage is contract recruiting is generally most cost effective than establishing in-house recruitment teams, as it delivers improved and more consistent service and results in long-term placements. Contract recruiting comes with enormous flexibility. Organizations can start with contract recruiting particularly for one-off vacancies, but can expand the service once they need to hire more staff. Students, there are some disadvantages also of contractual hiring. Since other employees will work that you are only there for a specific amount of time, they may not invite you into their inner circle inner circle or share as much information with you. Now, hiring a contract worker also poses restrictions on firing. Another major disadvantage would be is whenever the employer hires contractual employees for position entailing direct contact with customers or position of trust, there is a tendency for them to express their dissatisfaction to customers because of the impression that they have critical contribution to the organization or to any company. Then the last one would be outsourcing hiring. It is a process of hiring an external provider to do the work that was previously done internally. It is an arrangement in which one company provides services for another company that could also be or usually have been provided in-house. Now, recruitment process outsourcing, also called as RPO, is a form of business process outsourcing BPO, where an employer outsources or transfers all or part of its recruitment activities to an external service provider. Now, recruitment process outsourcing is when a provider acts as a company's internal recruitment function for a portion or all of its jobs. Some of the major advantages would be like quality. Since you are outsourcing it to some other organization or other expert, the quality will drastically increase. The cost. The third would be the advantage would be service and speed, and you can reduce the time to hire, and by doing all this you can increase or improve the productivity. And the seventh advantage of outsourcing hiring would be increased flexibility and control, and finally reliability. But students, there are few disadvantages also, like the cost of engaging an outsourcing hiring provider may be more than cost of internal recruitment department. Then effectiveness, then they might fail to deliver within that stipulated time. Then lack of competition, pre-existing issues might be there, employee branding, and finally engagement. So these are the nature of hiring, what we discussed. So you should be understanding each type of hiring. You should read it thoroughly so that you can understand that. And my request to you is identify in the local companies as well as in the other companies, multinational companies, what type of hiring they are doing, especially in the local companies in the manufacturing sector, what type of hirings they might be doing. So if you understand that, then probably these concepts will be very easy for you. Need analysis. Need analysis initiates the manpower hiring process. This phase entails identifying a vacant position or creating a new one to meet new needs that have arisen in the organization. To plan for the future recruitment needs of an organization, hiring managers need to consider the future, that is, changes in mission, strategic goals, and objectives, organization demand, new legislation, or economic condition. Human resources and hiring managers can use an organizational strategic plan as an input to the recruitment needs assessment process. Now, responsibility in recruitment need analysis. A hiring manager or officer of the company should be responsible for determining the need and completing a needs analysis for personnel addition or replacements. The requesting manager should ensure that the following criteria have been met. Now, what are those criteria? The first one would be the productivity level of the department or company will not be compromised. Productivity can be determined using industry ratios for sales or profit per employee. The second criteria would be budget has been allocated and approved for the position. The third would be appropriate training materials, physical assets, and other resources that will be available to ensure the new employee can start to be productive on their first day. The fourth one would be a mentor or a manager who is available and has the time to train, coach, and lead the new employee without impacting any current projects or deadlines. The last one would be productive projects or activities exist into the foreseeable future. Cost associated with recruitment process. Various costs associated with recruitment process can have a major portion of entire HR budget and the total operating expenses, as thousands of new employees are hired by the large companies every year. So different types of costs related to the recruitment process are cost of recruitment and replacement, recruitment cycle time, cost of turnover, and last would be training cost. Now we will understand each types of cost. The first one would be cost of recruitment and replacement. We'll also call it as cost per hire. The various costs associated with the cost of recruitment are like cost associated with the total time spent by the employees at different positions in the recruitment activities, cost incurred in the advertising, costs which are incurred in conducting the various screening tests, traveling cost for interviewees as well as interviewers, costs related to medical examination of the candidates, and there will be various administrative and other costs such as place for test, interviews, telephone, and so on. So it is not easy to determine all the cost. One can face a number of difficulties in allocating and appropriating the various costs. Depending upon the hiring process, the cost also varies. The second, the first one, the cost of recruitment replacement, the cost per hire can be calculated using the formula, the cost of recruitment divided by number of recruitees retained. Now recruitment cycle time, that is RCT. The total time which is required from the beginning of the recruitment process till its termination is considered as a recruitment cycle time. Determining the ideal time which is required to begin and terminate the recruitment or hiring process is the main objective behind analyzing the recruitment cycle time. The third one is cost of turnover or turnover rate. It is calculated using number of separations divided by average number of employees multiplied by 100. Now what is this cost of turnover? As both direct and indirect costs are associated with the employee turnover, it is considered as the costly affair. The various costs which are incurred in the recruitment, training of the employee, interruption cost, etc. are included in the direct cost, which are also regarded as replacement cost. And the last one would be training cost. In order to improve the skills and competence of the employees, training activities are conducted in all the organization. However, it is quite difficult to determine the total effectiveness of the training program. Still, there are a number of methods which can be employed to reduce the cost associated with the execution of the training program. The following, there are some formulas to calculate that: the cost of training per trainee, which is equal to training cost divided by number of employees trained. Then the second one would be cost of training per employee, training cost divided by number of employees. The third one would be training ratio is equal to number of trainings divided by number of employees. Now we'll understand RJI, that is realistic job preview or realistic job interview. A realistic job interview, it is a recruiting tool used to communicate both the positive and negative aspects of a job. Essentially, it is used to provide a prospective employee a realistic view of what the job entails. It is important for recruiters to provide a realistic expectations about a particular job. When they do so, there is a significantly lower turnover of new employees and the same number of people applies. Researchers found that most recruiters give general glowing descriptions of the company rather than a balanced or a truthful presentation. Research suggests that recruitment can be made more effective through the use of RJIs. A realistic job preview provides the prospective employee with the pertinent information about the job without distortion or exaggeration. In traditional job previews, the job is presented as attractive, interesting, and stimulating. Some jobs are all of these things. However, most jobs have some unattractive features. So overall, the job analysis, it provides an important input to the hiring function. So in this particular unit, we discussed about in detail regarding the hiring or recruitment, the objectives of hiring students, then factors affecting the hiring. Then we even understood the hiring process like recruitment planning, identifying recruitment sources, contacting sources, application pool and selection process. Then we even discussed about the importance of hiring, then the nature of hiring like regular hiring, full-time hiring, apprentice hiring, temporary hiring, part-time hiring, contractual hiring and outsourcing hiring. And we even discussed in detail about all these types of hiring, the advantages and disadvantages of all these types of hiring, then needs analysis, then cost analysis. Then we even discussed about RJI. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video. For any ambiguity, kindly contact me.